Well, good evening and thank you for choosing EBN TV tonight, the 11th of August, the year 2023. Welcome to the broadcast right here. I do hope you've had a fantastic Friday from wherever you're watching EBN Weekend Edition with me, Sammy Adika. Remember to connect with us through our socials at EBN TV and at Sammy Adika. And well, starting us off from Siaya County, Azimio leaders have today condemned the Kenya Kwanza government led by President William Ruto for lauding the police service, yet they used excessive force that led to the death of their supporters during the anti-government demonstrations. Odinga and his co-principals have condemned police brutality, noting that the Kenya Kwanza government has downplayed democracy and the constitution. The government has also been accused of profiling tribes that are believed to be Azimio strongholds, with Odinga calling on international communities to take note of such uncalled for moves, noting that it might sink the country's peace. Azimio leaders were speaking in Siaya County during a requiem mass for 12 of their supporters who lost their lives during the anti-government demonstrations in Bondo.
We have been in demonstrations before with some of our colleagues who have since wamesalimu amri. Remember siku za code, tukisema kina Hassan waende na walienda. Tulifanya demonstration tukapigwa tear gas, lakini hii ilikuwa vita. Hii haikuwa mambo ya tear gas, hii ilikuwa ni kumaliza Raila once and for all. Wengine walisema hivyo, walisikika akisema they want the final solution ya to do away with Raila Amolo Odinga. Lakini Mungu ni mwema, Raila ako hapa.
Musikubali kunyamasishwa, mukose kutaja juu ya vifo, mukose kutaja juu ya haki. Mukinyamasishwa muwache kutaja hiyo, ujue hata uhai wenu hautakuwa guaranteed. Uhai wetu zote hautakuwa guaranteed. We must negotiate under the laws of Kenya, not under the whims of William Ruto. Na hatutaki watu wa kuamuka kila asubuhi kuita watu majina. They cannot choose friends for us. They have profiled the Luo nation. They have profiled Azimio. Now they are profiling individual leaders. That is why they will say, don't walk with Wanjakoya, don't walk with Maina Jenga. To them, I want to tell them, you cannot choose friends for me. And if there are people I cannot walk with, it's your likes. Ni watu kama nyinyi. Watu wa Azimio ni sawa, I will walk with them and I will fight for the rights of Kenyans with them.
So these young people have died a very brutal and painful death. They are basically victims of gunshots committed by police officers who were supposed to protect them and their lives and property. We came as a country from colonialism. Under colonialism, we had what was called the police force, a force that was meant to be used by the colonialists to rule the natives. But after independence, we should have transformed our police to a service whose responsibility is to protect life and property of the people. Unfortunately, this is not happening. We fought very hard to get a new constitution. The struggle for a constitution took over nearly 50 years. Lives were lost during that struggle. Unfortunately, what we have witnessed over the last 1 year since this regime took power shows us that very little has been achieved.
Well, and still on matters police brutality, Siaya County Governor James Orengo has condemned Inspector General of Police Japheth Koome, noting that he is not fit to hold the office following his recent remarks that the opposition hired dead bodies, claiming they were their supporters killed by the police during the anti-government demonstrations. Speaking on Friday at Siaya County Government Headquarters when he presided over the renewal of contracts for over 170 health workers previously hired under the Universal Health Care Program, Orengo called on the international community to come out strongly and condemn the activities of rogue police officers in Kenya who killed citizens who are exercising their constitutional rights.
The members of the society going to mortuaries, hiring dead bodies, calling media, telling media that these people are killed by police officers.
Please give us the names of those who hired the cops, the names of those who were hired when they were dead, and the mortuaries which the dead were picked. Kenyans, you are not fool. And we are going to remind you, you have a duty to protect Kenyans, not to kill Kenyans.
You know, the Inspector General, under the new constitution, was supposed to be a professional. Professional. The way I heard the Inspector General talk the other day, he cannot be a professional. Somebody who can say that unanitupia mawe na mimi niko na bunduki. That is not a professional, because the protection of life is to the citizen, not to the police who is carrying a gun or cut out. When Jaramogi, I've attended, when Mutula Kilonzo, I've attended many post-mortems to determine the cause of death. And the cause of death of those who died was a result of police brutality, using excessive force. And tomorrow those post-mortems are going to speak to that fact. We need the international community to come out strongly to condemn.
Well, Governor Orengo's sentiments comes barely hours after Elkanah Muinami, the Morticians Association chairperson, condemned Kome's utterances, saying they are tarnishing the hard-earned reputation of the institution. The Morticians and Allied Professionals Association of Kenya has asked Kome to provide the names of the persons and facilities alleged to have hired dead bodies during the anti-government protests.
That one, mortuary technicians are no longer rogue, careless, dirty, drunk, and reckless, uneducated individuals. Mortuary technicians are registered, licensed, and regulated by government authority established by an Act of Parliament known as Kenya Health Professions Oversight Authority, KHPOA. Mortuary technicians are governed by ethics, chiefly among them being respect and confidentiality of the deceased, and respect for the loss, feelings, and the right of the bereaved to mourn their loved ones in peace. Mortuary technicians operate within and observe the laws of Kenya in all our practice. We, however, don't have any control of what happens with our clients once they are out of our custody. We condemn the statement made by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Japhet Koome, because we believe that no mortuary technician in the Kenya of today can even attempt to do such a thing. The office of the Inspector General is such a respected office to even attempt to lower itself to such unimaginable actions. We work very closely with the police service in our day-to-day operations and believe that the position we are taking is very well known to the Inspector General of Police. The purpose of this press release, therefore, is to demand the Inspector General of Police to furnish both Kenya Health Profession Oversight Authority and the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Board, the two registering and regulating and licensing bodies for mortuary technicians and the mortuary facilities, respectively, the particulars of those implicated so that they can be investigated and, if found culpable, necessary disciplinary actions be taken against them. Failure to do so, the Inspector General of Police should withdraw his remarks against the facilities as he put it, and also against the mortuary practitioners as he put it as well. Mortuary practitioners serve all Kenyans without caring about their tribe, race, class, political alignment, or religion.
And now on matters dialogue, religious leaders in the country drawn from different religious organizations have lauded the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio coalitions for agreeing to hold talks and end the unrest that have been witnessed in the country. The clergy have urged the two coalitions to also consider addressing issues affecting the country, including consolidation of national unity and cohesion, tackling unemployment, youth empowerment, and the cost of living. The leaders have also demanded to be included in the talks in a bid to end the historic post-election frictions.
Experienced tensions, violence, and political disquiet since the beginning of the year, Kenyans have in the last few days heaved a sigh of relief as the bipartisan talks got underway. The absence of toxic political bickering has accorded citizens a chance to reflect on their lives and to resume livelihood activities. We therefore commend the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja coalition's leaders for heeding to the advice of Kenyans and accepting to sit down and talk.
Kenyans expect that the bipartisan talks between the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja coalitions will resolve the immediate political crisis, including the reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. We nonetheless urge for inclusion of agenda to address the deep-seated and long-standing issues, including the consolidation of national unity and cohesion, tackling poverty, youth unemployment, and fighting corruption and impunity.
We want to involve not just the religious community, but all Kenyans from all walks of life. We have called for a national dialogue process. We have to dialogue about the questions that are with us. We have seen that every election since 1992, we have a loser who generally does not have a place or a big role to play in the society. And therefore there is a question of what do we do going forward, because we have seen that every election there is a pact or an agreement between the winner and the loser. We either call it a handshake or cooperation or any other. So we are asking for dialogue among Kenyans to actually ask ourselves, how can we resolve that issue so that going forward we'll be doing elections and we go back to our business.
Na katika mazungumzo hayo basi Kenya itakuwa na matumaini, Kenya itasonga mbele, Kenya itakuwa Kenya ya kila mmoja wetu. Hiyo ndio tunaomba serikali na upinzani wazingatie kwamba Kenya hii si yao peke yao na si ya viongozi kama sisi na wao walio katika serikali. Kenya ni ya Mkenya yeyote yule wa kawaida, mtoto ambaye amesaliwa na yule hajasaliwa, wanangojea kuishi katika nchi hii, na tunataka waishi katika maeneo lenye mazingira bora ambayo tumeboresha, mazingira ambayo ni amani kwao, mazingira ambayo inajenga maadili mema.
And Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has sent a stern warning to drug peddlers, noting that they will be met with the full force of the law. Kindiki has also called on parents, teachers and administrative officers to take the lead and protect school-going children from drugs and other vices during this August holiday.
We are seeing many of our young people whom we are depending on to take over the responsibilities of running this country, to take over the responsibilities of being parents and people in various responsibilities. Many of our young people are being lured into drug addiction and the abuse of alcohol. And all people who are involved in selling alcohol and drugs to our children and to our young people must know they are the greatest enemies of Kenya. We are going to fight them, and my colleagues in the ministry have already been instructed to fight alcoholism and drugs, and especially make sure that our schools and learning institutions are secure from those who want to profit by destroying our young people. Kama kuna mtu anauza pombe karibu na shule ama anajaribu kutafuta watoto wa shule na wanafunzi kuwaingiza katika mambo ya pombe na madawa, nataka niseme huyo ni adui wa taifa la Kenya, kama vile wale magaidi wa Al-Shabaab na wale wezi ambao wanaibia wale wengine mali yao. You are destroying our children, you are destroying our country. We will fight you with the same strength and the same vigor and the same commitment that we are using to fight other enemies of our country, including bandits and terrorists. Under the guidance of the President, very soon, Kenya is going to depend on its own resources. It is possible because during President Mwai Kibaki's time, he made it possible for our country to depend on our own resources. And I am sure President William Ruto and all of us who are supporting him will ensure that we return our country to self-sufficiency so that the money we need to develop our country is money raised from ourselves.
And still on matters enhancing education in the Western region, Huisero Member of Parliament Christopher Aseka has threatened to drop some students from the CDF scholarship program following cases of indiscipline and early pregnancies. Speaking in Huisero Girls, Aseka says the decision was reached at as some students have shown indiscipline cases with no intention to reform. Aseka has vowed to continue supporting more students from poor backgrounds to achieve their goals, however, asking them to focus on their education and divert from things that can interfere with their studies.
I am reliably informed that the NGCDFC has already committed 24 million to this program because of the population I'm seeing. I want to challenge the students that we are also expecting you to give back. And what you are expected to give back is in terms of good results. That we are having cases of indiscipline amongst some of the beneficiaries. And I want to quote Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "The future depends on what we do in the present." So what you are doing now will determine whether in future you will be sitting the other side, you will be sitting elsewhere, or you will not get a seat. So ensure to our students that avoid moving close to people you would not like to become.
We've been able to discontinue some of you, unfortunately, because of indiscipline. And I still say, and I've directed your principals, that any scholar on full scholarship from the same who is indisciplined in himself or herself should be removed from this program. I'm sorry to report we've removed some of you from this program, and we'll do so if we sense and we are convinced that you are not able to change. We've lost some girls due to early pregnancies. And my girls, let me tell you one thing. 100 shillings cannot solve your problems. Some of you, you are lured into these relationships because of 100 bob. Then you suffer the entire life. Once we realize that you are pregnant and you are a student on this program, we will automatically terminate you.
You may be going, is your mother and your father. This program, this CDA program is your mother and your father. What is important is that you must make use of it and succeed.
Well, now the Cabinet Secretary for Arid and Semi-Arid Lands, Rebecca Miano, has today announced the government's plan to revive all the stalled projects before embarking on new projects.
Ndaragwa is one of the constituencies that was worst hit by this drought. What we are doing, not only for Ndaragwa alone, but other counties and other wards that are traditionally not ourselves and they have been affected, we are going back to the drawing board with the relevant organizations.
We spoke about Ndaragwa being classified as an ASAL area. This has been our prayer all through, and today Waziri has confirmed that that process is ongoing, and once we are declared an ASAL areas, our chiefs, our teachers, our government officials will get handship allowances.
Well, now moving to the coastal part of the country. As the country continues grappling with tough economic times, youth in Kilifi County have been urged to be creative and set up jobs that will sustain their families and provide employment to many others. Kilifi County Deputy Governor Flora Chibule has said that Kilifi County government has set aside 1 billion Kenya shillings to support the youth in the county through loans and enable them start their own businesses in groups.
Ni kitu ambacho mmekuwa mkiulizia sana. Ndio maana tumesema ajira si kila mtu aweza kuandikwa county ama aandikwe mahali pengine. Ndio maana tunasema tunasukuma SME, uwezo wa kufanya biashara. Ndio maana ile lokoitwa mbegu fund tumeweza kuitia nyama tukaipa jina uwezesha. Kwa nini na kuwezesha? Tuliweza kushirikiana na washikadau ambao hizi financial institution ilikuwa tunapeana milioni 100. Sasa wewe kijana, nenda ukapate hii fund inayoitwa Wezesha Fund. Kuna takribani bilioni 1 ambayo itakuwezesha wewe kijana. Tuambie ni biashara gani, bora uwe na cheti, either a single business permit kama wewe kijana mmoja, ama uko katika group ya watu 10 mnataka kufanya biashara gani, you are eligible to get funding from Wezesha Fund. Na pia tunataka wawe marafiki, maana hiyo ndio njia ya kila mmoja atakuwa wazee, ili tupunguze hii swala la kwamba wazee wanakufa kwa sababu ya uchawi, lakini haswa ni mashamba.
Well, such a great encouragement to the youth, having a county government set aside 1 billion to fund projects that are youth-oriented. Now, moving on to Samburu County, women in the county have been urged to embrace politics and vie for different political positions in the next election. UPIA Party has encouraged women to contest for all political positions ranging from presidency, governor, senate, member of parliament, among others, and not only crowd on the women representative position. The party has also launched UPIA Party membership and Women League Samburu Charter as they go around all the 47 counties across the country, empowering women.
Na the main aim ni community yote yenye inaishi hapa waamke, wasimame, waache mambo na kutegemea kuachia viti ya uongozi kwa wanaume peke yake. Kama UPIA Party tumeweka wamama kipaumbele, youth na watu wanaishi na ulemavu, na leo tuko Samburu County mambo na wamama waamke wachukue hii space. Na uongozi inamaanisha sio kiti ya MCA peke yake na women rep. Tunaona wamama wote wanaenda kwa MCA na women rep. Tunataka 2027 pia wamama waamke wasimame kiti ya governor, wasimame kiti ya senator, hata president itoke Samburu County inawezekana.
Babu sikuwa na wafuasi katika hii party, lakini ninafurahia sana. Siku ya leo ninafurahi kwa sababu party yangu kupitia mwenyekiti ametumana mapema, na ile kitu ninaomba katika watu wa Marara wajiunge katika hii party. Hii party ni ya watu ya ukame. Ni ya watu wale wako katika desert area kutoka Garissa, Moyale, kwenda kutembea katika mahali kuna ukame. Kwa hivyo hii party ninajua kwamba ni party ambayo imejitolea kutembea katika kaunti zote 47, na vile wamekuja mapema. Kama vile nilikuwa na changamoto last election, ninajua kwamba next election nitakuwa na nafasi mzuri na nitapata
And now taking a look on the high school games that have been happening in Kakamega County. St. Anthony Boys Kitale has emerged winners in the semi-final match with Shanderema at Buhungu Stadium in Kakamega County. St. Anthony Boys Kitale will now proceed to the finals, with the school's head coach exuding confidence that his boys team will carry the year's national football title.
Nilijua mabwana ni mabwana wa kusukuma mpira, mabwana maguvu. Si tukajua touch yetu ya chini itatuwezesha kupata ushindi, na kweli imefanya kazi. Kwanza hizo ni tetesi tu. Huwezi poteza mechi kwa sababu nataka kukutana na mtu fulani. Kwa sababu kila mtu akitoka kwenye jimbo lake, yeye huwa ni bingwa. Kwa hivyo hatukupoteza ile mechi kwamba tulikuwa tunapenda kukutana na mabwana. Lakini ilivyotokea ikatokea, tumekutana nao na tumewapiku. Unajua katika mchezo wa kandanda lazima uwe na utulivu, uwe na ustamilifu. Tulishindwa, tukarudi nyumbani, tukajitengeza na tukasema tunakuja upya tena. Na tumekuja upya na tumefanya kweli. Ili kombe lazima lielekee Kitale. Ingawa nalitoa kwetu, huku ndio kwetu pia. Mimi ni mzaliwa huku, lakini nitalitoa hapa nilipeleke kule Kitale. Ili wajue kwamba the best coaches wako diaspora.
Well, we say congratulations to St. Anthony Boys Kitale. The school has been on the map for producing good results when it comes to games and also academically. Well, that marks the end of tonight's bulletin. I do wish you a very fantastic weekend ahead right there. My name is Sammy Adika. Many thanks for tuning in EBN TV.